Hello, it's Daniel Tompkins, and this is podcast number 3. We're going to be talking about healthy eating for singers today. If this is your third time, congratulations, well done you. This means that you're searching for a better voice. Hope you're having a good day, hope you're feeling positive, and I hope you get a lot out of today's podcast. Before we get started today, don't forget to check out the new vocal coaching website, www.daniel-tompkins.com, where you can subscribe to the mailing list and get hold of a nice little free ebook on the 7 biggest mistakes that singers make. The key to a good singing voice for me is understanding the mechanics of the voice. We have to remember at all times that our vocal cords are very fragile. They are delicate layers of tissue, and they vibrate at a very fast rate when singing. So it's important that we maintain a healthy environment for them to work in. We've already spoken about hydration on podcast number 2, and we know now that keeping them moist is going to prevent them from drying out and causing irritation. So now we know a little about hydration, let's talk about eating the right foods and avoiding the wrong ones. Singers and people relying on their voices can really enhance their performance with a healthy diet and by avoiding certain food types, which can be harmful to vocal health. So to start with, let's talk a little about the right kind of things to eat. Now, as an active touring singer, I can definitely tell you that eating healthy and even finding the time to eat can be a real challenge. But with the right attitude and knowledge, you can overcome this obstacle just like I do. You need to get excited about starting a healthy eating routine. Just remember that you are trying to build a strong, healthy singing voice. That is your main objective, so keep focused on that. But also think about the health benefits that you're going to get out of this new lifestyle. If you are not a very healthy individual, if you eat lots of junk food, if you're a little bit overweight perhaps, maybe you wake up in the morning and you feel really groggy, maybe you suffer with, fatigue throughout the daytime, general tiredness. Well, these are things that are going to change as you eat healthy, if you eat the right things, give your body the nourishment it needs. And not only are you going to reap the benefits of a healthy body, but your voice is naturally going to get stronger. I generally make sure that I get a good breakfast, avoiding dairy, fatty and fried foods, but I do try and eat plenty of fruit and whole grain. You have to keep an eye on how much dairy you might sneak in there because it can thicken the mucus layers in your throat and on the vocal cords, and this can inhibit the singing process. So you've really got to try and keep it to a minimum, especially in preparation for a full day of singing. I tend to have a light lunch and a large meal in the evening, the early to mid-evening, making sure that I leave at least 2 hours before a show or any singing activity without eating. Now, this is to prevent heartburn and things like acid reflux and vomiting when you're performing and when you're on stage, but it's also to make sure that my voice is cleansed of any food deposits that might break away and fall onto my vocal cords when I'm singing. Certain foods that you can eat that are great options are fish and chicken. Now, the plainer the better, i.e. no thick or fatty sauces or toppings. Eggs, rice, brown pasta, orange and yellow vegetables, and fruit. Now, they are all great sources of vitamins A, C, and E. Now, these vitamins in particular are really good at keeping the mucous membranes healthy. And the reason why I mention fish is because it is a great source of omega-3. It's a great protein as well, and these things are very good at building muscle tissue. So as you go through a period of singing or any singing activity, what happens is that the tissues in your throat will gradually begin to break down. So if you're on a tour, or if you're in the studio, for example, overnight your muscles can rebuild if you eat the right foods. Now, you guys are probably thinking to yourselves, what about vegans? What about vegetarians? Well, that's perfectly fine. All I would suggest you do is you look into the types of foods that you're eating, source out those that are richest in protein and the right vitamins. The more natural the food, the more benefit it's going to have on your voice. Now, this is easier said than done because when I've been on tour in the past, especially in places like the United States, when you're on the road, on the highway, constantly travelling from city to city, You only really have truck stops and services to eat at, and it's primarily just junk food. So you have to be really smart about where you buy your groceries from. Think about where you can keep them. If you're going on tour, buy a cool box and just keep fresh veg and fresh fruit in abundance if you can. But generally speaking, avoid anything that's got lots of additives in it, any fast foods that are fatty or have lots of sugar, as these are going to be detrimental to your health in general. So let's talk a little bit more about the foods and types of things that we need to avoid. So you have to be strict with yourself. You got to remember that when you're on stage, you should be performing at your absolute best. Now, alcohol is an absolute no-no for me. Alcohol reduces the vocal control in your voice, and this is because it causes constriction of the blood vessels in the vocal tissue. A lot of people don't realise this. Some people swear by alcohol and think that they can, it's a medicinal thing. You can drink a whiskey and go on stage. You've got to keep the environment in your throat neutral and performing at its best. You don't want to alter the temperature in your throat too much. So avoiding cold drinks and ice creams and cold dairy. Anything like that's going to contract the muscles in your throat. It's going to inhibit the singing process. Avoid excessive caffeine from coffee, tea, soft drinks, which as well as salty and spicy, fast and fatty foods, will dry out the tissues in your throat. Dairy such as cheese in particular, milk, yogurts, and some fruits like bananas, and in fact, any food with a general thick, sticky consistency is going to cause excess mucus and just get trapped in the throat. So, with any advice on diet, all I say is that these are rough guidelines, if anything. There are no hard and fast rules. As much as I would like to say that this is sound advice, we have to remember that every single person and every voice is completely different. Your voice is yours. Your voice is unique, and you are you. You are going to respond to different things. Your voice is going to say yes or no to certain food types, and you've got to kind of feel it. You've got to listen to what your voice is saying to you. It's very much a feel thing. Listen to the voice. If it's unhappy one day, then consider what you did the day before. Likewise, if you have a good day, make a note of your eating habits the day before as well. Keep listening to your voice. Keep responding to it. A lot of this is common sense, but the more you kind of cast a thought to it, the better your voice is going to be. So thanks again for listening. I've been Daniel Tompkins. This is podcast number 3, where we've spoken about healthy eating. Do go and visit my vocal coaching website, which is www.daniel-tompkins.com. Please subscribe to the mailing list, and don't forget you can get hold of a free ebook on the 7 biggest mistakes that singers make. Please do spread the word. If you know any singers out there that are looking for some guidance and some help, put them in this direction. Do share this podcast with as many people as possible, and I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.